answers to questions. All they want to do is scream about stuff they know nothing about. Can anyone tell me why Gabe sucks? Can you guys tell me why Gabe sucks? No? You can't tell me why Gabe sucks? Just ranting and raving, but no, tell me why? Why does Gabe suck?
Because he's tearing down Medicaid.
He's not tearing down Medicaid at all. Not at all. Did you read the bill? What line of the bill is going to take down Medicaid? What line in the bill? Because it's not in there. It's not in there, and it's not happening.
When did they pull it out? It's
When did they what?
absolutely in there. There's
It's not in
$880
there.
million.
It's not in there.
And they will. They
Nope.
will take it out because
Okay.
it's one of the only ways. Yes,
no.
they will. Yes, they will.
You don't know.
They
So
absolutely
let me explain what they're doing. They're making all they're doing. The only thing they're doing is taking Medicaid and making work requirements 2 years earlier. 2 years earlier than what it would have been under Biden. That's all he's doing.
And what about all the other things in the bill? This
What in the bill? What's bad?
Like just about everything.
But what? Well, name one thing.
Turning public lands into oil drilling fields. Taking money away from
So where in the bill is it saying that?
You want me to cite? This thing is huge.
I want to know what's in there that's saying that, because do you know that Colorado, in Brighton, they make windmills? So we have to protect the cities here where we're making money. I'm nobody.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, but I do know these people, and they're good people.
No, they're not.
I know him from all of the stuff we've done, and he is an amazing
Have a
person.
goddamn town hall to talk to people.
He did have a
is
town
voting
hall,
with
and I
the
was at it.
Republicans
He had a
against
town
all
hall,
these
and I was at it.
What,
He had a town
like
hall.
one?
How many did Yadira Caraveo have in the first 6 months? Zero. Zero. The answer is zero. The answer is zero. So why would a Democrat have
It doesn't
different
matter what
rules?
other people do. If he's responsible.
Why would a Democrat have different rules than a Republican? Why would you?
I'm sorry, I don't know anything about Caraveo. I'm sorry.
If you don't know anything about Caraveo, that's because you hate Republicans. Caraveo was running it before him. If you know nothing about her,
He's
then
no
you're not
better
voting
than
him.
him then. Or Caraveo, whoever they are.
Caraveo's a Democrat. But you just said she's no better. You're right. Absolutely right. These people know nothing. Nothing. They know nothing. Anyone want to tell me why Gabe sucks? Why does Gabe suck?
Why does Gabe suck?
Yeah.
Because he hates poor people. He's going after their Medicaid.
So Medicaid, do you know what they're doing with Medicaid? They're putting in work restrictions 2 years earlier than they would have been under Biden. That's it. That's the only thing they're doing.
They're
cutting it by putting in work requirements.
Out of the Medicaid budget, which essentially zeroes it out.
By taking away all the people that shouldn't be on it.
Bull. The people
That's
who
what they're
shouldn't be
doing.
on it aren't on it. There
That's
is so much regulation on Medicaid.
The people that shouldn't be on it are on it.
The people who he is proposing to cut off of it aren't actually on it. There are no...
They're putting work requirements in 2 years earlier than what Biden, and they're trying...
people who are already disabled?
No.
My kid
Disability
took
doesn't
Medicaid.
count, and having
My
a
kid
single
was
parent
on
doesn't count.
Medicaid for autism.
And that's not going to end.
And you want him to...
Do you know who did end it? Was Obamacare.
Obamacare did not end Medicaid.
So,
it expanded
no,
Medicaid.
Obamacare kicked people off insurance because they couldn't afford it anymore. I have a person that I went to see every year. Her daughter was kicked off when Obamacare hit because they put all these restrictions in and they made them have to pay for Obamacare, which they couldn't afford. And Obamacare is expensive for all the people that are not poor, like the middle class.
So let's move to a publicly funded medical system.
And who's going to pay for that? Then that means taxes
The
go
same
way.
people already pay for it.
No.
We do.
So if
because we already pay our private insurances.
So if we're
and
only
we would
insuring
pay
part of the
less
people,
if we paid it as a collective.
if we are only paying
Every
for part of the
other
people now, how are we going to pay for all the
industrialized
people?
nation in the world has some level of publicly funded.
And they come here for their medical.
No, they don't.
Canadians
They
come here because the wait list is 6 months long for important surgeries.
No,
And
not important surgeries.
I know Canadians that have come here because they just don't want to wait because they'll die waiting. I don't want our country to be that.
For the same surgeries. that
People go to
they get
Mexico
here.
for plastic surgery and stuff that isn't, and teeth. They do go for
Canadians
teeth.
come here for plastic surgeries. Not
They go where?
for
They go-
come here.
They go there
Because
too
they can
because it's
get-
so cheap.
They can go to
They don't get
Mexico.
it covered here.
They wait on wait lists for plastic surgery.
And I don't care about plastic surgery. No.
You're cool.
What in the bill is bad besides the Medicaid that we can disagree on?
Cutting SNAP benefits.
They're not
extending
cutting
tax
SNAP benefits.
bullshit.
All they're doing is putting work requirements. That's it. Work requirements.
Are bullshit. Work requirements are already there.
Right, but they're
So they're making people.
it was supposed to start in 2028. Now it's going to start sooner. I think it was
Why don't
2028.
we increase the minimum wage instead of having to force people?
Increasing the minimum wage is what drove businesses out of Denver. You can ask the business owners, increasing minimum wage shut businesses down because they cannot afford it. Yes. There are business owners you can talk to and they will tell you that.
More people moving here for jobs.
Do you know that we are $200 million in a deficit in Denver starting next year? It's what?
That's called taper. We have not been able to raise taxes in our state since the 80s.
Why would we raise taxes? People are poor to begin with. You need to lower taxes. And if you...
You are just...
I do not want to raise taxes on the middle class at
I don't
all.
want to raise taxes on the middle class.
But you just said raise the taxes. Who are you going to raise it on?
On the wealthy. You
So
know,
the 1%. So you think 1% of the people are going to pay all for everybody in the whole world? When you raise taxes, you raise it on the middle class.
in this state who are paying less than I pay.
Oh, like Amazon? Everyone always says Amazon. Do you know how much they pay in payroll taxes? The person that owns it, the CEO. Everyone complains. This person isn't paying taxes. Who is not paying taxes?
Who's not paying taxes? Let's see.
Polis is rich. Polis is like loaded, so I don't know.
A much lower tax rate than I would want it to.
Well, since I don't like Polis, I would agree with that.
I don't like dislike any particular rich person. But I think that they have had their taxes cut since the 80s.
So you want to raise taxes on Polis? I would raise taxes on Polis.
I would like to raise taxes on Polis. I would like to raise taxes on the people who...
Do you think it's fair that the rich pay for everyone?
Do you like filibustering people and just asking questions while somebody's talking? Yes, Karen.
No one can hear them talking. Now they can
Why
hear.
do we need to do this? Well, number one, of course, we need to protect Medicaid. But number two, we have a problem in Colorado where this state is now further left than California. Because you see, Governor Gavin Newsom in California has said...
I can actually hear him a little bit. Wow.
Enrolling illegal immigrants in taxpayer-funded health care. Colorado can't even get to that point. They're doubling down on taking your hard-earned taxpayer money and giving it to illegal immigrants. Estimated to cost over $50 million this year. We are asking the state of Colorado to clean up their Medicaid program. As I was corrected the other day, as the Colorado Sun broke $7 million to dead people through Colorado's state administration of the Medicaid program. This is what we're doing. This is what we're cleaning up. This is how we are protecting Medicaid. We are putting guardrails around the program to make sure that it is there for the people who need it most. And Medicaid spending will go up every single year under the Republican plan. Medicaid is not being cut. With these reforms, we protect the program for the people who need it most by disenrolling illegal immigrants, by disenrolling people who are ineligible for the program, with the community involvement requirements, and Medicaid spending will still go up every single year under the Republican plan. To talk more about how this program positively impacts our communities and helps the people who are in need by protecting
These people are ridiculous.
I'm going to turn it over to my state representative, Carlos Barron.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Congressman Miller, Congressman
I just got done
for having me here today. Thank you all for showing up here today. I came to this country when I was 1. My parents and I worked very hard.
Do they hate Carlos
to be
too?
legal residents of this country. Still working.
Carlos, you lie. This is all I'm
I
hearing.
worked to earn my citizenship the way by following the law, paying into the system, and contributing to my community. I went years investing in the system because I believe that if I did the right things, I would one day have access to the
I don't even know who Carlos is.
This is not my story.
You don't? Well, because you're not in his district.
It is the story
Yeah.
of millions of legal immigrants, and it is the kind of story we should be encouraging. But right now in Colorado, we are sending a different message. While my own family members still living in Mexico continue waiting and hoping to come here legally, we are watching our state expand taxpayer-funded programs for those who came here illegally. Colorado is one of the just few states doing this, and we have now gone even further than states like California. Even California has not extended Medicaid benefits as far as we have. Today, $96.8 million in uncompensated care has gone to individuals who are here illegally, while seniors, veterans, legal immigrants, single moms, and people with disabilities are told there is no room or no money. This is not sustainable, and it is not fair. This is not about being unkind or
Now they're yelling due process.
Quite the opposite.
But under Obama, there was no due process.
Rules that do not come at the expense of those who have followed the rules or spent lifetime.
It's only due process when it's under a Republican that they yell.
To put our mask on before helping others. Because if we do not protect the limited resources of programs like Medicaid, we will not be able to help anyone. We have heard concerns about how legislation like the Big Beautiful Bill might impact Medicaid.
There's so many whys going
But I believe
on.
this is an opportunity for
And the bill
real
is
Medicaid
1,000 pages
reform.
long, so who's going to read
To
it?
return the program to its intended purpose, helping those who
But
truly need it.
we can't
and
answer
who are
questions. They can't
legally
answer questions
entitled
if
to
we can't even
receive
hear
it.
them because
If
they're
we do not focus our efforts and our resources, we risk collapse of the very
So
programs that
Medicaid,
are
what they're doing
designed
with
to serve the
Medicaid,
most
what I'm
vulnerable.
reading is that they're under Biden they were going to
And
have
that hurts
the
everyone.
work requirements in like I don't know, but
My
the
goal
next 5
at the
years,
state level is
but they're
to
going to
work
bring
with
it
our
2 years
federal
sooner
partners
than they
to
would have. So
streamline
that's
legal
supposed to
immigration.
cut the budget
Not to shut
with the people
people
kicking
out,
the people off that
but to make
refuse to work.
the
But
process
they're
more
gonna-
fair,
if you
more
have small
clear,
children
and
and
more
single,
accessible for
that's
those who
okay.
are
You
trying
don't
to
have
do
to
it the
work.
right way.
If you're disabled, you don't have to work.
Because
But they're bringing the work requirements sooner so that we can cut some people off.
We unintentionally encourage legal immigration. And that undermines the values of this country was built on. I believe we can be a state that leads with both compassion and common sense. I believe we can support those in need without sacrificing the sustainability of the programs we depend on.
Vicky, right?
But it's why I support Congressman Evans in this big, beautiful bill. Because it prioritizes taxpayers, reduces waste, and helps ensure that programs like Medicaid remain strong and effective for those who need it the most. It is time to restore balance, restore trust, and restore the system that puts people first. Legal immigrants, veterans, seniors, and working families who are trying to do the right thing every single day. Thank you.
Thank you, Carlos, for sharing that story.
So I am a Republican, but you seem very reasonable. You know what? And I would love to, if you have questions, I would love for you to send me. And you can come to one of our meetings and see like that we're not the evil people that
A state representative, a former city councilman.
Right. I mean, everyone volunteers for soup kitchens and all this stuff. We have people of all religions, all
Not just to
races.
call him a friend, but as a fellow Latino. Because you all know my story. My abuelo has the same story. Born in Mexico, immigrated to the United States, earned his citizenship.
Because your reason
He served Army in World War II and with 2 Purple Hearts. My mom is a first-generation American.
I know support you. I have met
I'm the second
Gabe
generation.
several times, and his wife, and his 2 boys, and they're amazing. They're really sweet.
I was raised from a very young age.
But they do have to compromise with both sides, so we're not going to get everything we need.
You give back to this country that has given so much to us. And so that is why I'm incredibly proud to be able to talk about
the border security and the public safety components of this big, beautiful bill. Because under the previous administration, we saw an out-of-control border that not only allowed tens of thousands of people a day to flood into our country, to cut in line
But those people over there, you can't
doing it the right way, to cut in line the folks like the man you just heard talk, Carlos Baron.
I've met all three of these people
That border
at events.
secure, because that protects the territorial integrity of the United States, it protects public safety, and it honors the rule of law by rewarding those people committed to gaining their citizenship or gaining their permanency the right way without getting cut in line by people who are illegally entered into our country.
I've read about it.
Turn around and get all the
Gabe
taxpayer
is
funded
like
dollars
such a
that we
nice
just talked
person.
about in
If you meet
Medicaid
him
and
like
some
in
of the
real
other
life,
programs.
he's just
What
so,
this big, beautiful
he
bill
really
does
cares.
is allocate $46 billion to border security, to making sure that we are able to have the physical barriers, to have the control that we need on our southern border. It allocates $7 billion to making sure that we are able to recruit
My husband
and
and
retain
I, two
the
separate
brave men
patients
and
got
women
hit by
who
someone
put
that was
on a
not with
uniform and a
They
badge
disappeared.
every day and
They had
go
no
out
insurance.
to
They-
keep
well,
our
they had
community safe,
fake
and it
insurance.
allocates an additional
No
$5
idea.
billion
The cops are like, you can't
better
buy
protect
insurance, you're gonna pay for it
to be
yourself.
able to
Both of
allow
our
and
cars.
protect the lawful commerce
Yeah.
that occurs between
Yeah.
the United States
And then
our
a lot of the
neighbors
people in
south.
our party
These are the
are
things that are in this bill,
almost
and it is
50% of
critically
Medicaid
important to
are
Colorado because
Because they
unfortunately
would
we know
plus us.
the
Yeah,
public
they don't want
safety
people to
disaster
Our
that
chair of our
Colorado has
county, Adams
become
County, is
under the
Hispanic.
sanctuary
They call
city and
us
state
sisters, even
policies
though we're not.
of the current administration
look the
here in the
same.
state
I'm
of
Italian, she's
Colorado.
Hispanic.
I saw it firsthand during my 10 years as a police officer. I saw the impacts of it when I served 12 years in the U.S. Army and the Colorado Army National
He was in the
Guard.
military,
When I
too.
started my law enforcement career, Colorado was better than the national average for our public safety. Colorado finished last year, 2024, the third most dangerous state in the country. Denver is a top 10 most dangerous city in the country as of 2024, with double the homicide rate of San Francisco. And when I had a conversation with the mayor of Denver when he came to Washington, D.C. to talk about border security, I asked the question, how many crimes committed in Denver are a result of people here illegally? Couldn't answer because Denver and Colorado are sanctuary cities and states. We are pushing back on that in this one big beautiful bill by making sure that we have the resources to secure the border, to protect our country, to get the cartels and the gangs and the drug dealers out of our community. Fentanyl is the #1 killer of Americans ages 18 to 45 right now. Over 90% of it comes across our southern border. It's peddled by the Jalisco cartel, by the Sinaloa cartel, and by securing the border, by being able to have the resources to crush the cartels, to crush violent gangs that murder and rape and human traffic like Nicaragua and like MS-13. We are going to be able to keep our communities safe. We are going to be able to protect Coloradans.
Can they
We are
speak
going to be able to keep them safe from the scourge of fentanyl and crime and violence and organized criminal activity that is making our city, our state, and our country less safe. Under this big, beautiful bill, we have the resources to be able to secure our borders, to be able to support our brave men and women who are keeping our country safe, and the folks who benefit are Coloradans and Americans who will no longer have to deal with the threat of Nicaragua and MS-13 and the Sinaloa cartel and the Jalisco cartel trafficking drugs and crime and violence in our communities. That is why I'm standing here today, because as a police officer for 10 years, I've fought for those things here in the Denver metro area. When I lived in Washington, D.C., I continued to wear my police boots. I'm wearing them right now. This particular set is on their second pair of soles. I wear my police boots every day in the halls of Congress to remind me why I'm there, who I'm fighting for.
Don't want signs?
I've served every day for over 10 years on the streets here in the Denver metro area, doing everything that we can to protect them, to keep
them safe, to protect their businesses, and to ensure that their kids, their family members, aren't the victims of crimes and fentanyl overdoses and all of the other violence that comes when we have an unsecured border. To talk more about the public safety wins and the positive impacts that this bill will have on our communities, I'm proud to hand this over to Weld County Sheriff Steve Reeves.
I first met Congressman Evans when he was Lieutenant Evans with the Arvada Police Department. It's good to see him make it this far. I'm very proud to have him representing me along with Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, and it's an absolute privilege to have President Trump back in the White House, a leader that
I probably shouldn't be talking to people either while they're talking, but you can't even hear what they're saying because of all these people.
I have dealt with the impacts
They don't
of
want to hear what they're
crime
saying.
in my community for many years, 27 of them now. But it has never been worse than during the 4 years of the Biden administration. On September 18th of 2022, Weld County Deputy Alexis Hines was killed when she was driving to work because an illegal immigrant, drunk, pulled out in front of her in his van. She was killed instantly when she struck the side of his van. That illegal ran from the accident and he was evading law enforcement for about 2 days. When he was finally caught, it was determined that he was
That's all they ever say is January 6th. I knew that was going to come up. He's not even talking about anything related to January 6th.
Illegal immigrants are
People are freaking hilarious.
Thankfully, the big beautiful bill does what Colorado Democrats have refused to do. It puts public safety first.
Seriously.
As a sheriff,
That's all they got is January 6th.
Putting on our communities, and we know that open borders and sanctuary state policies have made Colorado communities less safe. We've seen record high spikes in crime and fentanyl abuse. Illegal gangs like Trende and Radwa have figured out that Colorado is a safe space for illegal activities. But I'm glad to see this big, beautiful bill invest billions of dollars to build the wall, secure the border, and make Colorado safer. And here's just a few points. This bill will fund $46.5 billion to complete that border wall.
Yeah, I'm horrible with names, but he is a Republican. He's on this team, I believe. I'm trying to think what his title is. He's on Gates.
It'll provide $5 billion to modernize and enhance CBP technology, and it will permanently secure our southern border. In addition, it will fund 10,000 immigration and customs enforcement personnel, and I hope they sing a bunch here. Lastly, it's going to provide funding for detention capacity, and I hope they open that prison in Weld County. National legislation like the One Big Beautiful Bill makes public safety a priority in ways these out-of-touch Democrats in Colorado have not done, the ones that sit in this house behind us. This bill makes Colorado a better and safer place to work and live and raise a family. I'm honored to be speaking today, and I'm very hopeful that the One Big Beautiful Bill will steam through the Senate so this administration can get to work and deliver on the promises made. Congressman Evans, thank you. Congresswoman Lauren Boebert, thank you too.
This administration has done
So
nothing
there
but
you have it,
talk.
folks. This is what the Big Beautiful Bill does. The Big Beautiful Bill protects working class Coloradans. It protects working class Americans by giving tax breaks that benefit the bottom 85% of wage earners in Colorado. It helps working class families by extending and increasing their child tax deduction from $2,000 to $2,500. It protects the average Colorado family of four from seeing an over $2,000 increase in their federal taxes. It gives no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and for the average retiree, it alleviates completely their Social Security tax burden. In Medicaid, it kicks illegal immigrants off of the taxpayer-funded Medicaid rate, 1.4 million, something that even California agrees with, but Colorado can't get on board with. It removes 1.2 million folks who are ineligible from the program from the rolls and therefore makes the program more effective and more financially secure for the people who rely on Medicaid. Pregnant women, people with disabilities, kids, they are protected under this program. In fact, funding for them and for Medicaid increases every single year under the Republican plan. And finally, this bill ensures that we will get back to being a safe place to live, to work, to have families by making sure that we secure the border.
Yeah, he's going to be reelected in 2026. We're going to make sure of it. There's no one and done, people.
And the murderers and the homicidal people out of
Nope,
our
he'll be
community.
reelected in 2026.
Every 15 days, the death toll of September 11th is repeated across the country as a result of illegal drug overdoses. I joined the Army after September 11th to stand up for my country.
You know, you would think they would want to come and hear some information instead of just yelling. They have not cared about any information.
September 11th is repeated every 15 days across the country as a result of illegal drugs kept in our community by cartels and criminal organizations like Triple Agua and MS-13 and the Jalisco cartel and the Sinaloa cartel, crushing that and protecting the lives of the 100,000 Americans who died last year from drug overdoses. Making sure that that does not happen again is why I'm proud to support this big, beautiful bill. So with that, we have about 15 minutes for questions. Again, thank you all for coming out today. Happy to take the questions.
We love you, Gabe!
The question was, why do this and subject yourself to this? We are being open and honest about what is in the bill. We are doing the work of representatives, duly elected, to be able to engage with all members of our community and all members of our constituency. You don't have to agree with what I say, you don't have to like what I say, but nevertheless, we are here to lay out the facts, to give the truth.
The Capitol's here. That's where you do things, at the Capitol. For all congressional
Myself and all of my colleagues up here are doing to make America.
This is the Capitol, the Colorado Capitol.
Places to live, work, and raise.
But he is at our Capitol giving us information. And I am from CDA.
Thank you for taking time. It's not unnoticed, and we recognize your service. I'm very sorry for what the state of Colorado has done to our law enforcement, removing qualified immunity, defunding Denver police and other areas, spending $356 million approximately, which is a conservative number, on illegal aliens rather than bolstering our police force. But I want to say thank you so much. And it's really unfortunate as a mother.
What does she mean by what the state has done to our law enforcement? They tie their hands. They can't. When my husband works at Red Wing and someone stole a $300 pair of shoes, the cops came and they're like, look, I can arrest him, but they're just going to let him go. Like, they don't let us arrest people. They don't let us hold them accountable because the DA, the district attorneys and the judges just let them go. People steal a car and they're out. They just changed the law recently because police had pressure on them for the car theft because we were #1 in the nation. So police finally, after all the pressure, changed the law so that these people could be held accountable for car theft. But they just, if a cop arrests someone and they go to court and they just let them go, then why should the cop even arrest them? It doesn't make any sense. If you look at neighborhood, there's a neighborhood site I go to, and it tells you the crime in each city. So I come from Chicago. Denver and Boulder are now just as bad or worse than Chicago for crime in that neighborhood. They take all kinds of information. It's just like a nonprofit thing. Yeah, we're worse than Chicago, which is not good.
While we unleash American energy ingenuity and how we stand up for the rule of law, secure our border, and stand up for
Let's see if I can sneak up there.
amazing police officers who are here today for each and every one of us. So that's what I have to say about that. But this is so important, so critical to actually have an informative discussion, and that's what we would like to provide.
Thank you
Yeah, they won't even let them answer questions. All they want to do is disrupt. Disrupt, disrupt, disrupt. That's it. Don't ask questions, just disrupt. And then you wonder why he doesn't have town halls. Does anyone wonder why he doesn't have town halls? Do you wonder why he doesn't have town halls? Why would he have a town hall? Why would he have a town hall if this is what happens? Does anyone wonder why he doesn't have an in-person town hall? This is what would happen if he had an in-person town hall. You can't even hear him. Can't even hear him. Why would he have an in-person town hall? Can't hear his questions. Not at all.
Signed orders for removal. Those are the folks that are being targeted. They're going after the gangsters, not the grandmas. And I asked them, how many folks do you have? Violent criminals, people with known criminal records, and they gave me a list in the tens of thousands of people that are doing violent criminals,
I'm on their side. I know everyone as well.
That is who the focus is for the immigration enforcement right now. It is the people in our communities who are causing problems. Or have those final signed orders that have been completely adjudicated. It is, as we say, the gangsters that they're going after, not the grandmas. Other questions?
Can't hear the questions.
So the question from Marshall was, how many of those, somewhere around 200,000 folks in my district, need to be kicked off Medicaid?
You can't hear their questions because people are just disruptors.
Those are the ones who will be removed from the program. And then we have 4.8 million people across the country, able-bodied, working-age adults with no dependents who have the ability to choose to go to work or school or volunteer part-time in order to keep their Medicaid benefits. If they're choosing, then the choices are mine. If they choose not to go to work or school or volunteer part-time as an able-bodied, working-age adult,
They're not listening to his answers. They don't want a town hall. They're not listening to his answers. Why would he do a town hall when this is what these people do? I suggest don't do a town hall. You shouldn't even be doing this.
Yeah, I'm telling you the number right now. You may not like the answer, but that's the answer. Next question.
What are they?
So the question was, the president himself has said no cuts to lawful beneficiaries of Medicaid. That is absolutely correct under this bill. Again, these just limited categories of people that will be impacted by these returns. It's people that are ineligible, it's illegal immigrants, and it's able-bodied, working-age adults with no dependents who choose not to work on the university and that is their choice.
Disruptors. Don't listen to his answers and then ask him to have a town hall. Don't listen to a word he says and then tell him that he's not having a town hall. Does that make sense? Of course it doesn't.
Those are the only three categories of folks that are impacted by this. People who are eligible for the kept on the rolls by the administration, all able-bodied working age adults with their dependents who choose not to work volunteer or go to school part-time as the college guidelines and some thoughts on it.
These people tell him that he doesn't have a town hall. And this is why. Why would you? You can't even hear a word they're saying because the disruptors. She's so tiny.
There for those who need it, and we are eliminating waste, fraud, abuse, and improper payments. That is fraudulent. We are getting rid of it.
Sydney.
So I'm going to take that as the town hall question and the allegations that Dave's going to bring.
Can I come up there?
Plus, we've done 2 town halls. We've reached over
As long as you don't like my best. Is that okay?
Sitting around 83 person events to go out to have conversations with the people that are interested in dialogue, because at the end of the day, the American people are sick and tired of the political screaming without any
I just wanted them to know it was okay
or dialogue. And so being able to go out into the community and have, as we said, being there's somewhere around 80 in-person events in the community with stakeholders, with businesses, and healthcare
kinda hear 'em now.
with grocery stores, and with anyone in the community who's interested in having a dialogue. Again, we've been doing that. We've had 2 town halls.
Oh no, you're good.
And again, we're doing this here
I had to
today
tell security that it was okay. I had to have Sydney okay me.
policies impact all of Colorado.
I can't even hear the questions because these people. And then they want a town hall. Why would you ask? Why would you do a town hall if this is? I wouldn't. Can't even hear it.
Like blocking them off.
Yeah. No, thank you.
All right, so we'll do this one and then one more question. This question was around some of the community health centers and community health clinics that have a lot of Medicaid clientele. And so the answer to those folks is we worked long and hard, going back to the previous question, around having those conversations with stakeholders in the community. I've sat down with multiple community health centers to talk through components of this bill and how we will be able to make sure that we're only going after the fraud, waste, and abuse without impacting the lawful beneficiaries or the providers who rely on the program. So one of the things that we actually have in this bill is what's called the doc fix. So when I have these conversations with providers, one of the big concerns that they have is their compensation rates under Medicaid are going down. We actually are fixing that in this bill by increasing the compensation for providers to make sure that they can actually continue to provide that critical health care to the community. There's actually also a cost-saving component of this bill for the states, because when you take illegal immigrants and ineligible people off of the rolls, that actually saves the state money as well, because
many
Medicaid
of
is a
us
cost-sharing arrangement.
go to the Democrats speaking and do this screaming crap so you can't hear them.
Medicaid, you now no longer have to provide services to those people, but the state also saves money because the state's kicking in part of the tab for those people right now that are receiving services, ineligible, illegal, etc. And so again, we've talked about this. The way that cost sharing is set up is actually unfair to the people that are pregnant, disabled, and have kids, because they get $1 federal dollar for every $1 state dollar. Able-bodied, working-aged adults or below dependents get